Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, guys. Welcome again to the Development Economist channel, where you find everything related to economy of which you are interested in. Basically, in this video, we're going to talk about two important topics, in addition to a third one. First one is going to be fiscal policy and government budget. The second one is going to be also a monetary system and monetary policy. Oh yeah, there's a third topic, shocks to aggregate supply, and two parentheses, raising the oil prices. So before we continue with the video, I would like to share an information with you, which is there will be two presenters in this video who will help you understand those topics mentioned before. And it's going to be me, Abdullah, and the other one is going to be Tasya and Melani. So let's go ahead with the government budget. So government budget is like a plan. It's like a financial plan, actually. It outlines how government is going to collect the money, or in another word, the revenue, and spend it over a period of time. It's a year, usually. Keep that in your mind. Let's talk about terms related to government budget. First one is revenue. Revenue can be collected, or is the money that is collected by the government, and it could be taxes, including income tax and sales tax, and it could be also fees like issuing license, and the last thing is borrowing, issuing bonds to commercial banks. Another term related to government budget is expenditure. So expenditure basically is when the government spend money on the public benefit. For example, when it comes to services, government spends on schools, hospitals, and also on infrastructure like roads, bridges, self-defense, for the country. And now we go to surplus and deficit. Surplus means, so we can just think about it this way. If the revenue is bigger than the spending, then this is a surplus. Let's just think about it this way. If the revenue is bigger than spending, that means there is a surplus. If the spending is bigger than the revenue, that means there is a deficit. There's a budget deficit there. For you to know, actually the government target is to reach to the an equal level where there is no surplus, there is no budget deficit. And this state is called balanced. And now, fiscal policy. This is how the government influences the economy of the country by using the budget. There are two types: expansionary fiscal policy and contractionary fiscal policy. Expansionary fiscal policy, basically, it's used when there is recession. Its optimal objective is to boost economy's activity. The government might cut taxes, leaving people with more money to spend, or spend more money on infrastructure, maybe roads, building bridges, to create much more job opportunities. Shocks to aggregate supply. Aggregate supply represents the total quantity of goods and services that producers are able and willing to provide and supply in the market at different price levels. A supply shock is an expected event that happens and changes the production cost or the availability of key resources, making a shift in the aggregate supply curve. So, how raising oil prices shock aggregate supply? Well, higher production cost will actually make a very drastic change in the aggregate supply. Oil is used to fuel machinery, transportation, and also produce plastic and chemicals. When oil prices raises, this basically, make a challenge for businesses because business owners face higher production cost problems for energy and transportation. And this means firms produce less in every price level. And the result is lower output, higher price, a situation that is called stagflation. Now let's talk about the short run and the long term, the wrong. Yeah. Now let's talk. Now let's talk about the short run and the long run effects by or made by oil raising prices. Now let's talk about short run and long run effects made by oil raising prices. Well, in the short term, well, in the short term, there is, well, in the short term, the raising price of oil results in stagflation. Stagflation means there is an excessive inflation and unemployment. In the long run, well, workers try to adjust, wages fall, and businesses or investors try to invest their money in much more efficient energy, source or technology, lowering resilience on oil. Cost push inflation. Raising oil price directly cause cost push inflation. So how it works? Well, prices of oil increases, cost of productions increases, firms increase the cost so they maintain, their profits, and the overall prices increase. Magic. So what are the impacts of cost push inflation? Actually, people will definitely pay more for gasoline, heating, and also goods, like the ones transported by trucks from, far places all over the country. And that's it for me.
Hi everyone, my name is Tasya Melani. I will explain about the monetary system and policy, which includes this effect of monetary expansion and shock to aggregate supply. First, I'm going to explain about the monetary system. The monetary system refers to the structure that manage the currency and money supply in a country, including the central bank, financial institution, and financial market. Monetary policy includes action by the central bank to control inflation, establish currency, and encourage economic growth. Effect of monetary expansion. What is monetary expansion? Monetary expansion is a policy carried out by a central bank to increase the amount of money circulating in the economy. usually by lowering interest rate or purchasing asset by the central bank. The purpose of monetary expansion is increased investment, consumption, and economic growth, especially in a slowing economy. However, if it is too excessive, it can trigger inflation or hyperinflation if not managed properly, because there is too much money in circulation compared to the goods and services available, and also the risk of creating asset bubbles such as in the property or stock market. For example, is Bank Indonesia lowered its benchmark interest rate to 3.5% in 2023 to encourage investment. This policy increased lending by 12% compared to the previous year. The following bar chart show the following bar chart show lending before and after the policy. In 2022, 1,200 trillion rupiah, and in 2023 is 130.44 trillion rupiah. The monetary expansion policy in Indonesia in 2023 succeeded in increasing investment in the manufacturing sector by 15%. Third, I'm going to explain about shock to aggregate supply. What is aggregate supply? Aggregate supply is the total amount of goods and services produced by an economy in a period. For example, is rising oil price. A shock to aggregate supply occurs when an unexpected event drastically changes the cost of production and supply of goods, such as a spike in oil price, which can increase the cost of production in various sectors. The impact of that is increase in the cost of production, like transportation, energy, and industrial sector experience an increase in operating costs. And then cost push inflation. Price of goods and services increase due to higher production costs. And then decrease in economic output. When costs increase, some firms reduce production, which can lead to an economic slowdown. Policy response to that is government or central bank often adopt monetary or fiscal policy to cushion the impact, such as providing subsidy or adjusting interest rate. For example, a 20% increase in world oil price in 2022 causes inflation in Indonesia to increase to 5.5%. The government provide an additional fuel subsidy of 77.5 trillion rupiah in 2022. The following graph show the relationship between world oil price and inflation in Indonesia is in 2021 years is 70 USD, which is 3.2%, and 2022 is 95 per USD, which is 5.5%. The increase in world oil price in 2022 encouraged the government to develop alternative energy such as natural gas or electricity. Mitigation strategy that we have thinking about is diversification of energy source. For example, is transition to electric vehicle (EV) and renewable energy project in Europe. Strategic oil reserve like act as a buffer during supply distribution to stabilize price. The US released oil from its strategic reserves in 2022. For international cooperation, coordinate production adjustment by oil producing countries. Agreement within the International Energy Agency IEA to stabilize the market. That's all for me. I hope what we said provide benefit and additional knowledge for those who listen. Thank you all. Bye.